Oh. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om and good evening from Niagara Falls. In Sanskrit, the word for human is manava. From manava comes the word man. And the origin of manava is manyate, which means to think, which means to use one's man. So one becomes a human by thinking. And if one is not thinking, then one is not a human by software. By hardware, they still may be. This is the vision of our Vichara Gurukula, to make humans humane, starting with ourselves. To not just be humans externally, but to be humans internally, which is where there's a play on words, to be humane. And this is being presented through our Jnana Yajna, entitled Human to Hanuman. And the emphasis in a Jnana Yajna is jnana, knowledge. I've read many reports, many stories of kids in villages in Africa where they're playing in the mountains or the hills, and they'll come across these stones, which they believe to just be glass. And they play with them, they throw them around, they break them, etc., etc., etc. But that's not glass. What is that actually? Diamonds. Those are diamonds worth thousands and millions of dollars. But those kids don't know that. So they're unable to benefit by the fact of the value of those stones. We are no different. We are playing with our potential. Our potential is to be independently joyous. Our potential is to love all, but we just flirt with that. We just talk about it on social media, but we don't invoke that. We don't evoke that. And the reason for that is our knowledge is more like information. Do you all remember the sadhana from the fourth chopai from yesterday? I didn't give it to you yesterday, now did I? Everyone's panicking. See, we're all conditioned to interact with information, and the internet propagates that even more. But we have to have knowledge to benefit. I have to know what my nature is to benefit by my nature. And that's what we're trying to do with our Human to Hanuman Jnana Yajna. So who is this Hanuman? How many of you are Hanuman? All of us, but we're not Hanumanji. Please remember that. Hanumanji is known to be Chiranjeevi. Chiranjeevi means that he never dies. He is ever present. This is who Hanuman is. And the person that's extolling Hanumanji is Tulsidasji. Tulsidasji is someone who loves Hanumanji and Bhagwan Rama so much and will understand that fully if you study Ramayana. The amount of detail he puts in just to describe the curls of Bhagwan Rama's hair, the fragrance of Mother Sita, only someone who loves Bhagwan Rama and Mother Sita that much will put in such detail. Correct? If someone you love so much is coming to your home for dinner, are you just going to give them the pot to eat out of? Right? You'll take out those dishes that you never used before. There'll be such detail to put a nice placemat, to make sure that there's no crust on anything encrusted on their glass. That is our Goswamiji, Tulsidasji. Really, to understand who Hanumanji and Tulsidasji are, you have to know that there's actually 5 Purusharthas and not 4. The first Purushartha, or the purpose in one's living, I mentioned this yesterday, is kama, pleasure. More evolved than that is artha, or possession. More evolved than that is dharma, or position. And then generally, we know the 4th Purushartha, or the highest, to be moksha, or peace. But in Ramayana and in Srimad Bhagavatam, a 5th Purushartha is introduced. And that pursuit, that purpose of living is called bhakti. That in freedom, one is no longer present. But in bhakti, one is free, but still present. And that's why I brought up that Hanumanji is Chiranjeevi. That even after Bhagwan Rama changed his manifestation, Hanumanji stayed on to serve Bhagwan Rama's cause. Yesterday, someone had asked, how do you serve one's guru? And that's what I had shared. You serve their cause. You think of Goswamiji. Who is he an incarnation of? Valmikiji. For those who are paying close attention to the questions on the Vichara Gurukula website, last night the question used the word reincarnation. And this morning the word was incarnation. Reincarnation is unconscious. It is choiceless. So all of us ideally will not go through reincarnation because we'll be enlightened on Friday at 8:30 p.m. But if that doesn't happen, we will go through reincarnation. But incarnation is by choice. And that's why we don't say Bhagwan reincarnates, we say Bhagwan incarnates. Valmiki ji was a person of enlightenment. He had interactions with Bhagwan Rama. And when I said that he was dissatisfied with his expression on dharma, that is not like our dissatisfaction where we can't sleep, we can't wake up, we're frustrated. In regards to Valmikiji's dissatisfaction, he felt that the universe needed more. The universe needed more guidance. And so he incarnated as Tulsidashi and wrote Ramayana again from the perspective of bhakti, on how to love. So please remember that his enlightenment was not denied. He was acting on that 5th Purushartha, that he's free, but he wants to serve Bhagwan, wants to serve the cause of bhakti. Yesterday we began with our dohas. And the sadhana from our first doha was purify, because we're describing the purest. The sadhana from our second doha was no. It is our forgetfulness that makes us weak, and by remembering, we will become strong. In the first chopai, the first verse, the sadhana was prioritize. And that's where the word jaya comes in. we make Hanumanji a priority. We make self-development, jnana, guna, a priority. In our second chopai, the sadhana was strengthened. That Hanumanji's Rama's Duta, he did Bhagwan's work because he was independent. And we said that purity creates strength. In the third chopai, the sadhana was associate. That when we associate with Sumati, then Kumati naturally is pushed away. And here we described how to be great. Great in balance, great in responsibility, great in generosity, great in knowledge, great in compassion, all directed towards the highest. One becomes Paramavira. If you think of where Hanumanji went in Bhagwan Rama's life, it was almost like he was a boat. You have to envision that. He's a boat that is satsang. And when a boat's on a body of water, when it's heavy, when it's moving fast, what does that boat create? Creates a wake, correct? And all of those logs or seaweed, all of that gets pushed out. Imagine satsang and dusanga being the same way. Wherever Hanumanji went, that's where satsang was. He even gave Lankini satsang, correct? We continue with our chopais. I'm on chopai number 4. Please chant. Kanchana Barana Viraja Subesa Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kesa. Kanchana. Kanchan thinks this verse is about her. These words are quite simple, and you know these. Kanchana means golden. Varana means face. Viraja means wear. And Subesha means fine clothes. That Hanumanji has a golden complexion and he wears fine clothes. Not only that, Kanana Kundala. He has earrings, Kunchita Kesha, and his hair is curly. I still haven't figured out why there's such an emphasis on curly hair in our in our shastras. Like Arjuna is known to have curly hair. Lord Krishna is known to have curly hair. Hanumanji has curly hair. Because everyone who has curly hair, and my hair when it gets longer is curly, it's hard to maintain. Having straighter, shorter hair seems more efficient, more godly. Anyways, what does this all mean? At a Puranic level, there are 3 types of people in relation to sickness, S-I-C-K. One type of person is sick, but doesn't know it. And who is the typical person we reference from our scriptures related to that? Ravana. Ravana was sick, but he didn't know it, so he never asked for help. If I don't know that I'm having a blockage in my arteries, then I don't go ask for help, correct? As an example. The second type of person is sick and knows it, so what do? They ask for help. And the personality that we study relating to this is Prince Arjuna. Arjuna realized that he's not well. He's suffering from vertigo. And so he's asking for Bhagwan to help him. And so he gets help. And the third type of person is someone who doesn't allow themselves to become sick. And from our Shastras, that person is Sri Lakshmana. Sri Lakshmana never allowed himself to become sick. And if you study Sri Lakshmana's personality carefully, it's very much like Hanumanji's. And Hanumanji's like Sri Lakshmana. And so when we see that Hanumanji's face is glowing, it's because he's healthy. He's a monkey. The clothes that he wears, it's not the clothes that are beautiful. He makes those clothes beautiful. How many of you are wearing golden earrings right now? Are there chopais written about you? But we note Hanumanji's golden earrings, correct? I have curly hair. There's no chopais written about me, but about Hanumanji there is. So we see that Hanumanji, like Sri Lakshmana, is healthy. But now taking it to a adhyatmic level. What does this mean for us? The greatest health is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. The greatest health is happiness. Isn't that what we pray for first? May you be happy, and then comes the prayers, may you be healthy. May your software be strong, and then if your hardware is strong, that's a bonus. May you be happy. And even if you take this literally, aren't happier people healthier when it comes to their immunity? Don't they respond to recovery better? And the opposite of that is a hypochondriac. Hypochondriacs, they take much longer to recover, for their immunity to be strong. So Hanumanji's glow is of happiness. And one more adhyatmic point here about his golden earrings. What's not mentioned in this chopai, but if you have a picture of Hanumanji, I'll show you my picture, and this is from Siddhabari. Hanumanji is also wearing golden bangles, golden bracelets. And the reason for that is those golden earrings symbolize Shravana. And the golden bangles symbolize Seva. See, wherever there's gold, our attention goes there, right? Indians, right? So that's why they're not silver earrings, they're not pearl earrings, they're golden earrings that our focus should be on Shravana. And what is the evolution of Shravana? Seva. Shravana would be the theory and Seva would be the application. You can't just have golden earrings. You can't just have golden bangles. You need to have both, but please remember it starts with Shravana. Too many people do Seva without Shravana, and I find that they develop a sattvic ego then. Look at how many people I'm serving. Look how good I am at serving. All of that is wasted then. Our sadhana for chopai number 4 is learn. Learn. How do you learn? By listening. And what is the expression of learning? By helping. Learn. Okay? Chopai number 5. Let's chant together. Hata vajra or dhwaja viraje kande munja janeyu saje. From a Puranic sense, Hata in his hands is a vajra. What does vajra mean? Don't say thunderbolts. I've already explained to you. You can't see thunder. It is a lightning bolt. And in his other hand is a dhwaja. What does dhwaja mean? Flag. Like Arjuna's flag is the kapi dhwaja, the flag of a monkey, the kapisha we studied yesterday. And kande, on his shoulder, is a munja janeyu saje. He's wearing a janeyu that's made out of munja grass. Now see, even the literal meaning is pretty awesome, but we just fly through that. Hata vajra dhwaja viraje kande munja janeyu saje. Next. But there's so much to this. So we'll start with Vajra. The Vajra was, you need to know how the Vajra was created, okay? How this lightning bolt was created. So to understand this, you have to study all of Srimad Bhagavatam. So tonight, you will read all 18,000 verses to be ready for tomorrow's third discourse. There is a part of Bhagavatam where Indra and the Devatas are being shut down by Vritra and the Asuras. And the Devatas are being crushed. And Indra is guided to go to Rishi Dadichi. Rishi Dadichi. And Indra pleads, begs to Rishi Dadichi for help. And Rishi Dadichi gives up his body. And he says, with the bones that will remain, you can make the Vajra. And the Asuras will not be able to withstand this lightning bolt. And one day, I will share thoughts on Bhagavatam with all of you. When Indra shows up on this battlefield with this Vajra, Vritra knows that he is going to be destroyed. And he knows that Bhagwan's hand is in all of this. And he's praying to Bhagwan saying, please take me faster. When Swami Tejamananda speaks about this, he cannot carry on. He shares that this is the most devotional part of Srimad Bhagavatam. And you know who's saying this? An Asura. And that's amazing because we're not born into anything. People say we're born as Hindus, you're born as a Kshatriya. Ravana was born into a family of Brahmanas. How was Ravana? Correct? Prahlada was born into a family of demons too. Prahlada was giving guidance to his father. There's no fatalism when it comes to our context. It is about our content. So in his hand is this Vajra, this lightning bolt. What is shared is anyone who is touched by this lightning bolt is annihilated. Hanumanji was hit by this lightning bolt when he was just a baby, but he was not annihilated. So Goswamiji is highlighting that he's holding this Vajra. And he has the Dwaja, and what's on Hanumanji's flag? Ram. And he has this thread across his shoulder because you have this thread put on when you go from being a child to a student. Hanumanji's ever learning, no? Okay. That's some Puranic meanings. Now we come to the Adhyatmic meaning. So this is a big chopai, so please listen carefully. You first have to look at Hanumanji's flag that has Ram on it. Ram means joy. And this is the sadhya. Sadhya means goal, destination, purpose. So we too have to remember what the purpose is of this yajna, of the Vichara Gurukula, of your family, of you going to work tomorrow, running errands. All of this is for joy. And if you keep this flag in your line of sight, then comes, in the other hand, this Vajra. In Hanumanji's hand, what do you often see? Not a lightning bolt, but a mace, no? The Hindi or Sanskrit word for this is gada, not donkey. I'm saying gada as in this weapon. The word gada comes from the base gada, shorde. Gada means to speak. So for someone who wants to be joyous, they have to control their speech. And don't think of control in a very, okay, I'm never going to speak to anyone again. I'm only going to write notes to them. That's it. When I try to practice Mauna with our Balagar students, even our young adults, when it's time for Mauna, everyone takes out their notes and starts exchanging it with everyone. We have to be thoughtful with our speech. I'll share with you later that Hanumanji never spoke unless he had something wise to say. Imagine we all practice that. Tomorrow will be the quietest day ever in the history of humanity if everyone practiced that. So we want to be joyous, so we have to be thoughtful with our speech, but not just our speech. This sacred thread is made up of 3 strings. How many of you know this already? what I'm about to tell you. Okay. How many of you have your sacred thread? You're wearing it right now. Okay. This sacred thread is actually made up of 3 strings, and they're all tied into a knot. These 3 strings represent our thoughts, our words, and our actions. And that knot is called the Brahma Grantihi, the knot of Brahman. In other words, my thoughts, words, and actions should all be tied around Brahman, which is that joy. So we are reminded to be joyous. We'll be thoughtful with our speech, not just with our speech, but with our thoughts and our actions. And so the sadhana for Chopai number 5 is integrate. Integrate. We have to unite the thoughts, words, and actions. You know where we are most disintegrated? Going to sleep and waking up. Intellectually, you know you should be sleeping at 9 a.m. Sorry, not 9 a.m. We still are at 9 a.m. 9 p.m. But the mind keeps keeping us up later. Yesterday I mentioned Game of Thrones, so that is in our thoughts. So now we got to go binge on Game of Thrones. And then the morning time comes. Your intellect says, get up at 3 a.m. But the mind says, not 3, but 4, not 4, but 5, not 5, but 6. And it just keeps on going like that. Disintegration. You want to know how to try integration? Don't use your snooze button. Try. Jnana and guna, theory and application. Chopai number 6. Shankara Suvana Kesari Nandana Teja Pratapa Maha Jagavandana. Shankara Suvana, you're the son of Bhagwan Shiva. You are also the son of Kesari. See how politically correct Hanuman Chalisa is. Hanumanji has 2 fathers. In fact, he has 3 fathers. You have to include Vayu in there too. And a mother. It's like full house. Teja Pratapa Maha Jaga Vandana. And the whole multiverse knows you, reveres you. So from a Puranic sense, who is Bhagwan Vishnu's best BFF? Who's Bhagwan Vishnu's BFF? Bhagwan Shiva, right? And who's Bhagwan Shiva's BFF? Bhagwan Vishnu. And that second F, forever, is literal. See, our BFFs till we die, till someone moves away, but they're eternal, so they really are BFFs. So when Bhagwan Vishnu decided that he is going to incarnate as Rama, who will be a Nara, then Bhagwan Shiva felt, my BFF is not going to be so easily accessible. See, Vaikunta and Kailasha, they're in the same dimension, but Earth is pretty near to hell. It's the first dimension above hell, so it's quite a distance. So Bhagwan Shiva wanted to be closer. So he said, I'm going to incarnate also, but I can't incarnate as a Nara because Bhagwan Vishnu will never let me serve him as an equal. So I can't come as a Nara, so I will come as a Vanara. So I will come as a monkey. That's what Vanara means. And so when we say Shankara Suvana, don't take it literally that he's the son of Bhagwan Shiva. But really, all of us are by DNA like our parents, correct? By upbringing, we're like our parents. So this is accurate. Hanumanji's other father listed here is Kesari Nandana. So now you have to hear this Puranic episode. It's very beautiful. Raja Dasharatha, he was unable to have a child with his first wife. Who's his first wife? Kaushalya Mata. Unable to have a child with his second wife. Who's his second wife? Sumitra Mata. And then there's many other wives whose names are not given. I don't know if you know this, but the last wife was Kaikeyi. She is the youngest, the most beautiful. And after trying with so many different wives, he was unable to, so he called Rishi Vishishta. And Rishi Vishishta initiated a Putra Kama Yajna, this ritual to encourage having a child. So the first infertility clinic, Ramayana. See how everything comes back to Sanatana Dharma? Now, as Agni brought out this payasam, as he was giving this to Raja Dasharatha, a bird who was looking for food happened to take a small fraction of this payasam and flew off with this. And at the time, near a mountain, Anjana, she was contemplating on Bhagwan Shiva. She wanted to have, her and Kesari, they wanted to have a divine child, so they were contemplating on Bhagwan Shiva. So at that time, Vayu took that small amount of payasam from this bird and dropped this into Anjana's mouth. She must have been yawning or sticking out her tongue at Kesari. And she ingested this. And that's why Hanumanji's second father is known as Vayu, because he's the one who transported this payasam, and then Kesari is the direct father. Okay? So that's some of Hanumanji's family history. Did you all catch that? Okay. But now we have to go to the adhyatmic part, which is even more beautiful. What does Shankara mean? Shankara means Shiva. What does Shiva mean? Abhayankara. What does Abhayankara? So we go through the 1008 names of Shiva Sahasranama. Shankara means Sham Karoti. Sham means auspiciousness. The one who is auspicious and causes auspiciousness. Now all of our advanced Vedanta course students, Bhagavad Gita course students, I had mentioned the Sanskrit word for auspiciousness is Mangala. What does Mangala mean? Egolessness. The only auspiciousness is egolessness. So what is the first quality that we need to invoke? Egolessness. Now go to Vayu and Anjana. Remember yesterday I said Anjana is a symbol of purity. With Vayu I said if someone has bad breath, what do? Open the window. Purity, correct? So to become egoless, we have to be pure. Now we come to Kesari. Who is known as the Vedanta Kesari? Who is the lion of Vedanta, traditionally? Puja Swami Vivekananda is known as Vedanta Kesari. He was a lion, he roared Vedanta. Hanumanji's father Kesari is a lion-like monkey. So what quality do you think of when you think of a lion? Courage. A pack of lions will take down a rhinoceros, a hippo, an elephant. So how do you get to purity? By being courageous. So Hanumanji had all of these qualities, and at an adhyatmic level, we have to be courageous with our responsibilities. We will develop purity of mind, and then we will let go of our ignorance. We will be egoless. And if you take this at a more simpler level, Hanumanji lived up to his parents. And we too should live up to what our parents have gifted us. with their DNA, with their love, with their teachings, their support. And that's why this last word, bandhana, means vandana. And we use the word vandana as praise, but at an adhyatmic level, vandana means love. The world loves those who have virtues, no? When you see someone who's so kind, you may not know that person, but you want to know more and more and more about them. That's what vandana means, to love. To love virtue development, to love those who are virtuous. Okay? And so the sadhana for the 6th chopai is appreciate. Appreciate. And going back to our parents, we should start by appreciating our parents. They have done everything for us. 6 chopais are done. What is the first sadhana? Prioritize. Second, strengthen. Third, associate. Fourth, we brought this in today, learn. Fifth, integrate. And 6th, appreciate. Can you do all of these? They're all simple English verbs. We can do this. Let's chant 7. Vidyavana guni yati chatura rama kaja karibeko atura. Vidyavan. So we study these words. Whenever you have 2 words like vidya and guna, what should your understanding be? One is philosophy, one is practice. One is a game, one is a scrimmage, and one is the game. Okay, so vidya, vana, guni, ati, chatura. Hanumanji has values and virtues, and I love this, ati chatura. Chatura means dexterous, skilled. He's ati chatura, most dexterous. Rama kaja karibeko atara. He is always carrying out Bhagavan Rama's work. So from a Puranic sense. You all know who Tom Brady is, right? So I believe it's Tom Brady who carries, Tom Brady carries Ganeshji with him. Sorry. You all know who President Obama is. I still use the word president, President Obama. So during President Obama's campaigns, I'd read a couple of reports that he carried a monkey with him. In Vivek's very faithful interpretation, I don't think the President Obama would just carry an ordinary monkey. He has Rafiki in his pocket, or he's a chimpanzee in his pocket. He must know what that means, but to be nonpartisan, then he says that I carry this monkey with me. President Obama worked a whole lot, and Hanumanji worked a whole lot. Comparing him to Sri Lakshmana, did you know that Sri Lakshmana never slept for 14 years? And I said Hanumanji's like that. It may not be specified like that, but I'm sure Hanumanji never slept either. And I'd read in one place that Sri Lakshmana didn't eat for 14 years either. Which is why when Shabari was feeding, his stomach, he didn't have this stomach to eat those berries, correct? So Hanumanji worked a lot. He was working so much that there was no time for sleeping or eating. But he didn't just work a lot, he also shared that work a lot too, correct? He gave Sugriva the opportunity to serve Bhagavan Rama. Do you think that they needed to build the Ram Setu? Did they need to build that? If Hanumanji can make himself as big as a mountain, couldn't he have made himself, if Hanumanji can reach the sun, couldn't he have just extended his body that long? You know, like the mother in The Incredibles, in that animated movie. Couldn't he have just become like that? Hanumanji did a lot of work, but he shared a lot of that work too, which is what we sometimes miss out on. Rama kaj karibeko atura. Hanumanji is ever in the Vajra Asana. Now tell me, when do you remember Vajrasana? To digest food, correct? When we're ready to not do work, we sit in Vajrasana for 20 minutes to digest. But Vajra means lightning bolt. If you see lightning, you can see it for a fraction, and his posture is like that. He is ready to work. For all of us, imagine this was a physical Jnana Yajna. So everyone's just got prasad and we make the announcement, okay, now we have to put the chairs away and take down the banners, and people are already in their cars, correct? Oh, we didn't know that it had to be cleaned up. We're the exact opposite of this, Vajrasana. So coming more to an adhyatmic level, let's pick on this word, ati chatura, which means most skilled. When you care for a person, you will become what they need. Isn't it true? If you care for a person, you will become what they need. So if I care for someone and I find that people aren't listening to them, then I'll stand on a chair and I'll say, everyone be quiet and listen. Isn't it? Or if someone needs resources, let's say, and I have the capacity to work to make those resources, I'll get a job to help that person out. If you have an ill parent who is having an operation, an emergency operation next week, won't you change your schedule to go over there, wherever they may be? If you, at an adhyatmic level, if we care for joy, if we care for Rama, we will grow up. But if we don't care for joy, don't grow. Swami Tejamayana always shares, if you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. And how does Einstein say this? Doing the same action and expecting a different result is insanity. If you want to be independently joyous, we have to grow. And taking this to a more Vedic level, the Veda only teaches two subjects: Brahma, which is the last portion of the Veda, and Dharma, which is the earlier portion. If you love Brahman, don't you have to love Dharma too? And if you love Dharma, won't you love Brahman? I love my responsibilities, but I don't love joy. How is that possible? So at such an adhyatmic level, if you love joy, you have to love your responsibilities. I've shared so many times in our yajnas and classes, instead of having a lust for life, we have to have a love for life. That's what this Chopai is teaching us. That's someone who's knowledgeable, someone who's virtuous. That person loves serving joy, working towards joy. And so the sadhana for the seventh Chopai is mature. Mature. How do fancy people say mature? Mature. So if you don't understand mature, then I'm saying mature. How do fancy people say finance? Oh, I teach finance. So you teach finance, but you don't know English. That's what you're telling. That's what you're telling me. To mature. The reason that you wake up, we should mature. That it's not just for a check. It should be for contribution. It's not just for our family. It's for society and humanity. The eighth Chopai. Prabhu Charitra Sunibeko Rasiya Rama Lakhana Sita Mana Basiya. Our Prabhu's Charita. Charita means the stories, the descriptions of Bhagwan Rama. Sunibe, when Hanumanji hears this, he is Rasya. He is rejoicing. Like Bhagavan Krishna's Rasa Leela, Rasya. Why? Rama Lakhana Sita Mana. Mana is our heart. Basya. They're in Hanumanji's heart. So let's take the Puranic sense here. I had mentioned to you that Hanumanji is Chiran Jeevi. He is immortal, and so he is all-pervading. And Hanumanji's favorite full-time job and his hobby also is to listen to that word, Ram. And wherever Ram Katha is happening, Hanumanji finds his way there. And he's like his father, Vayu. We can feel the wind, but you can't see the wind. For those people who have that sensitivity, you can feel Hanumanji, though you may not be able to see him. And don't take this as some poetic sharing. I know people who can still hear Bhagavan Krishna's flute in Vrindavan. When we go there for that lassi with the malai on top, correct? In that matka. But there's some people, they're so sensitive, they can still hear Bhagavan Krishna's flute. So Hanumanji loves Ram Katha. And to make this more external, how many of you have ever been to a mandir where the main deity is Bhagavan Rama? In Bhagavan Rama's mandir, who else has to be there? Hanumanji, correct? Often across from him, often. Like Bhagavan Shiva and Nandi Bhagavan. Have you ever been to a Hanuman mandir where there's the primary deity is Hanuman? Okay. Who else has to be there? No one. You're all saying, yeah, Bhagavan Rama. No. Bhagavan Rama doesn't have to be there. Why? Because Bhagavan Rama is already included in Hanumanji's heart. For all of those people who've been to Maruti Mandir in Vibhuti, Chinmaya Vibhuti, there's only Bhagavan Maruti. Nobody else is there. But inside is Bhagavan Rama. So if you want to build an inexpensive mandir, buy one, get two with Hanumanji. So at a Puranic level, that's what this Chaupai teaches. But now the Adhyatmic level. Prabhu Charitra Suni Beko Rasya. The highest gain is when you no longer seek gain. The highest gain is when you no longer seek gain. If you gain infinity, are you going to be seeking finite numbers, places, money? If you gain independent joy, are you going to be seeking out changing your context then? No. That's what it means by someone who loves to listen to Bhagavan Rama. In other words, their only focus is that highest gain. So they have nothing to gain. And here's a very powerful part. If you have nothing to gain, you have nothing to lose. We always talk about this word, live fearlessly. But you can't live fearlessly unless you've gained the highest. Prabhu Charitra Suni Beko Rasya. That we should be directed towards the highest. And I'll tell you such a practical benefit to this. If your life is dedicated to independent joy, and for all of our Bhagavad Gita course students, yesterday I spent a lot of time narrating, if you focus on dedication, it will encourage the reduction of anxieties, the reduction of regrets, reduction of anxiety, reduction of disturbance, reduction of seeking gain, reduction of fearing loss. See how connected it is? You will feel ever secure. If your life is dedicated to independent joy, you will not compare, you will not feel jealous, you will not feel insecure. Is there anyone here who doesn't want that? Of course we want this, but we have to try. Otherwise, we will live a life of FOMO. What does FOMO mean? FOMO means the fear of missing out. Here Vivekji is talking endlessly about this Hanuman Chalisa. I wonder what's on TV right now. I wonder what, even at a sattvic level, I wonder what other YouTube videos are on right now, or what other discourses are on. FOMO, the fear of missing out. Why? Because I don't have that contentment. So I feel there's no contentment here. It must be over there. Must be over there. Have you ever found contentment outside of yourself? And if you say yes, you're wrong. But if you say yes, I'll ask where. Tell us. We all want to come there too. Is it in Raleigh? Is it in Portland? I keep joking that Niagara Falls is heaven, but that's to me. To other people, Niagara Falls is hell. You will be ever secure. Live a life dedicated towards the highest. You will feel ever secure. And the catalyst to all of this is internalization. Internalize Rama, internalize Mother Sita, internalize Sri Lakshmana, but specifically internalize Bhagwan Rama. That's what it means to be dedicated to the highest. What is the difference between motivation and inspiration? In English, there's synonyms, correct? Motivation is an outside force that pulls you up. Inspiration is an inside force that pushes you up. Okay? The key difference being motivation comes from the outside and inspiration comes from the inside. If you're motivated and your context changes, what happens to you? That which is pulling you up is gone. But if it's inspiration, if your context changes, you can still keep pushing yourself up. That's a good question to ask in the Vichara Gurukula afterwards. I should secretly insert these thoughts so you're really focusing on it and then trick you by not putting it on there. The eighth sadhana is internalize. Internalize. So now we've completed 20% of Hanuman Chalisa, 8 out of 40, correct? We have 8 sadhanas, 8 ways where you are no longer allowed to use this Vedantic swear word. What Vedantic swear word are we professional users of? But. B-U-T. But now you have 8 ways to practice. And I'll give you your 9th way. We'll introduce our Mother Sita now. Sukshma rupa dhari siyah dekhava, vikata rupa dhari lanka jarava. Sukshma rupa. This subtle form, dhari, he put on and showed Mother Sita. Hanumanji put on this subtle form to show himself to Mother Sita. But then he put this vikata rupa, this terrifying form he put on and burned down Lanka. So at a Puranic sense, what does this mean? Mother Sita is in the Ashoka Vatika. This garden where there's no sorrow. That's what this garden is called. It's This place is hell, but we call it heaven. So then it makes it heaven. And she just keeps looking down and chanting in her mind and with her mouth, Ram, Ram, Ram. Little food, little input. Now Hanumanji arrives there. Now imagine Mother Sita, little input, and all of a sudden, this mountainous monkey comes and says, I'm with Bhagwan Rama. He's coming to save you. Right? She's so used to these Rakshasas, she'll feel this is just another Rakshasa. And so how did Hanumanji show himself? He came in the size of a mashaka. Mashaka means mosquito. And he dropped down that ring to Mother Sita. And as a mosquito, he didn't say anything. He was just buzzing around. And Mother Sita just needed to see that ring. She had that connection with Bhagwan Rama. In Ramayana, what is shared is that Bhagwan Rama was not made up of the 5 elements like you and I. His body's not made up of earth and air and all of that. His body is made up of light, including his clothes and accessories. So you can't even say that ring was made out of copper or platinum. It was made up of light. So right away, Mother Sita knew that this is Bhagwan Rama's. And he allowed himself to be captured by the Rakshasas. And they were teasing him. And they thought he's a monkey. So what is the pride of a monkey? The tail. Just like a mouse, like a dog. So cutting that tail will be very mean. So we should burn that tail. See how logical these Rakshasas are. So they start wrapping this cloth on Hanumanji's tail. And this cloth is all dipped in oil. So they wrapped, but there's still room for his tail. So they go into more rooms, they get more cloth, but there's more room. So they gather all of this cloth from Lanka and try to wrap his tail up, but his tail keeps growing. And then what does he do? Makes himself small, gets out of all of that cloth and all of that tail, and those Rakshasas, they don't know where he went. And then he appears again as this demon. Like Rudra, when Bhagwan Shiva takes on this intense form, in the same way, Hanumanji took on that form and started burning down Lanka. And those Rakshasas were speechless. They were also gada. Their mouth was controlled. This goes back to the earlier chopai that if you care for someone, if you care for a purpose, you will become anything for that someone, for that purpose. So bringing this to an adhyatmic level. We need to learn to lead ourselves. Whenever we think of leadership, it's always about leading others, which is very rajasic in nature. You shouldn't be a leader in reference to others. You should be a leader of yourself. Now you see, with the relationship between a guru and a shishya, the guru doesn't go around saying, hey, you're my shishya, to make themselves a guru. Right? And if they're doing that, please be very careful of such people. It's the shishya that makes them the guru, right? I want to be your shishya. I want to learn from you. So you see, the guru is not in reference to the shishya. The guru is living a life of light for the sake of living a life of light. So for us too, we have to learn to lead ourselves to be able to help others. Hanumanji was able to help Mother Sita. He was able to defeat those Rakshasas because he was a leader of himself. A leader knows when to stand up and speak and when to sit down and be quiet. You see both of those in this chopai. A catalyst to being a leader is to know your role. And if you know your role, you will know your responsibilities. Those two go hand in hand. For all of the people who work in corporations, when you're given a job title, what comes with that? Job description, correct? But if you don't have a job title, then what are you supposed to do? Know your role. Follow your responsibilities. That's what a leader is. When you lead yourself without wanting to be a leader, you will naturally lead others. You see, in this case, Mother Sita's shoka was mountainous. And Hanumanji made her shoka as small as a mosquito. And you take the Rakshasas, their shoka initially was mosquito-like, but it became mountainous. Hanumanji reversed the pain. A leader is someone who makes suffering of those who are noble, he makes it small. And for those who are ignoble, he makes it big. Like Bhagavan Krishna, restoring balance between dharma and adharma. The last chopai that we will study today, the last sadhana we will study is, I'll preface this and then I'll finish. Before I was married, my mother told me, don't marry someone you love. Marry someone who loves you. And I thought, that's pretty cryptic. I don't really know what you mean, but I'm just going to smile and nod. And then my father told me, Beta, you will never meet the perfect person. That I understood more, especially in reference to me, right? But then with more thought, more vichara, I realized they were saying the same thing. My mother was saying, marry someone who will adapt to you. My father was saying, you should be ready to adapt to someone else. That's good advice, no? That's our 9th sadhana, adapt. Now I'm going to take this out of the context of just marriage. You know, when we use a lot of examples of being married and having children, but those are just because a lot of people can relate to that. But to be a seeker, you don't have to be married. You don't have to have children to be a seeker. Don't be limited by these examples. Adapt. If you want to grow, you have to adapt. If you want to work with people, you have to adapt. Narayana.